Welcome to the Daily Influence, where our mission is to deliver a daily dose of positive influence that can uplift you personally or be shared within your sphere of influence. While not every episode may directly apply to your unique circumstances, we strive to provide insights and inspiration relevant to most people's daily, weekly, and monthly lives. Whether you are tuning in during the morning, noon, or night, the Daily Influence is here for you. Listen, share, and embrace the power of influence in your life. Hey everybody, Brian Smith here with the Iron Team series and the Daily Influence. And we're picking up this week with our talk about individualism. Being your best self, your best individual for yourself, but also for the larger, the many individuals that are out there. And what I mean by that again is when one or more of us come together in a common interest as one company, as one group of people, we are individual. And we've been talking about the power of accountability, the power of respect, the power of consistency. And today we're talking about the power of respect. Some of you may notice that I record these in blocks, and it's because it's easier for us to do that. And today I'm at home, and if you're seeing us on YouTube, then you'll notice that sometimes I walk around my house or walk around the environment where I'm doing the recording. So I apologize if I'm making people dizzy as I walk around today. Anyhow, it is really an honor, an individual honor, when our boss or our coworkers or our friends respect us. And I'm not talking about like us, I mean respect us. When we do that, and when we find ourselves regarded highly, people come to us for advice, people want us to be around. It goes beyond just liking. And it's nice to set ourselves up for these areas of influence, this influence as a respected person, not just a liked person. And I had the most dramatic lesson of earning respect that I've ever had, really, and that really sits with me for the longest time when we moved to Oregon. When we lived in Oregon, I lost a lot of respect because I felt like I needed to be, well, quite frankly, needed to be an ass to people to get things done. I thought that I needed to bring this pragmatic, overly objective, overly direct business person to this really amazing small mountain town in southern Oregon and lay out this way of doing business that I just wasn't seeing there. When people there were friendly, but they seemed loose to me. It seemed like things weren't getting done at the speed or to the quality that I needed. But really, I was trying to assert myself as a leader, and I did it all the wrong way. I didn't learn that right away. I learned that over some time. But when I arrived, I really overemphasized my direct, to the point business demeanor. And, well, it hurt me. And I didn't want to be an ass. I didn't want to be thought of that way. I just wanted respect. And I was still a little too immature to understand what that exactly meant, especially in the grand scheme of moving my family to a new community, setting up myself as a leader in that community, taking over for a business that was very high profile in that community, and wanting it to happen so fast, but I still wasn't mature enough to understand exactly what that meant and how to do it the right way. And I did it the wrong way. And it was a huge challenge that I had to overcome. Too often, like I did, I see people who demand respect due to their status or their perceived significance in their life. The only place that this really works, quite frankly, is in the military. You know, in the military, the higher you are in rank, you get respect. It isn't, there might not be a respect when you walk away, but I'll tell you what, face to face in this immediate area of influence, when you're dealing with officers or people that have more rank to you, you immediately defer to them. You immediately give them the respect right there. And there's not a lot of dissension from that in the moment. Now, when they walk away, they may not have long-standing respect. They may not hold that respect behind closed doors. Uh, but in situations where they're involved and have direct influence, their respect is the only time where it is expected and happens that quickly. Nowhere else in life is should that happen. I don't believe. I think it's earned, and I think earned respect takes some of the things that we've talked about over the many weeks that we've been with you. It takes consistency, positive consistency. It takes accountability. It takes communication, smart communication. It takes follow through. It takes listening to learn. And all of these things identify learning respect. I think, however, I learned a little bit about respect. I wish I would have carried it through and actually applied it better from the military. And I think it laid a good foundation so that when the lessons of my life started to happen and I started to see the consequences of my behavior and the damage that that did to myself and the organizations that I was involved in, that I started putting the pieces together. And the problem is that it can take weeks, months, years to develop respect. And one action, one inconsistency, one poor act of behavior, one lack of accountability can damage that respect. And consistent bad behavior, consistent lack of consistency, and consistent lack of accountability can destroy your reputation for a lifetime and make life very difficult for people. It's why we preach so hard about these different things. So earning respect, building respect is something that we should strive for. And everything that we try to teach about best self, your best self for others, is about laying this foundation so that you can earn, and not just earn that respect, but maintain that respect. And maintenance of respect comes from the things we've already talked about: consistency, accountability, communication. So think about those things as you wonder why people might not respect you. You cannot demand respect just because of who you are and what your status is, because you're a CEO, because you're a president. You can expect the respect, but it won't stay if you don't follow it up with positive influence, positive communication, positive behavior, and positive accountability when you do make mistakes. When you hold yourself accountable for the mistakes that you make, you can actually overcome those mistakes. You can overcome those challenges and keep your respect. You can maintain that respect even in the most difficult of times. I've seen that happen time and time again throughout my my time, and I've seen others do it. I had some challenges with partnerships early in my career, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. In fact, it cost me friendships. Uh, I miss those friendships sometimes because they're, generally speaking, very amazing people. I was the root cause of the breakdown of those relationships. I was the root cause of the loss of respect. It wasn't that I lost respect for them, though you would have thought so the way I behaved at the time. It was that I created, through poor behavior, through inconsistency, and through lack of accountability, a lack of respect from them to myself. Some of them that will last forever. They'll never overcome it for their own reasons, for their own lack of ability, and for their own lack of caring. There's no reason for them to change the way they think about me. There's no benefit to that for them. There's no benefit for our lives to come together, but I caused that. I left that negative mark that can't ever be erased. But I have had people in my life who showed me what respect is. And one of them was an ex-partner back from the Oregon days. And no matter what that man did, he held himself accountable. No matter what the consequences were to himself, if it was the right thing, he did it. He had an issue with a partner passing away, and there was discrepancies in what was owed in those partnerships. And those discrepancies were going to take time to figure out. And he never erred on the side where he found himself having the liability. And what I mean by that is that there was a certain amount of money that was being challenged. The amount of money wasn't known, but he paid the maximum amount of money that it could be. And he said, look, if we find out that I'm owed that money back, then I'll ask for that money back. But there's a very good chance that I owe the whole amount, so that's what I'm going to pay. And to him, that was the right thing. And he always tried to do the right thing. And even if it was to his detriment financially, operationally, tactically, he always took the high road. And for that, everybody respected this man. I don't think I've ever met a single person in my life in those times of influence, in those areas of influence, that ever questioned the integrity of that person. It was because he was consistent and he always held himself accountable to what he said and did. And I think the lesson that he taught me as a young professional was that the things that he was putting out there to maintain his integrity, money, effort, time, those could all be replaced. What couldn't ever be replaced was damaging his integrity, damaging his respect. And he always put those things, he always put that first in front of all of those other things that could be replaced. Getting respect, maintaining respect, giving respect should be something that you reserve and that you hold true. It should be part of your best self effort. It should be something that you look to maintain, that you look to build, that you check yourself on, that you reflect on, that you give yourself a checkup, that you strive for. It is part of the best self equation that will serve you the most. If you respect yourself, then you will be consistent in a positive way. If you respect yourself, then you will hold yourself accountable to whatever it is that you want to strive for, that you want to achieve. And if you respect yourself, then you'll be able to respect others. Takeaways about respect are you can spend a lot of time building respect in your areas of influence, and you could lose it, you can damage it, you can destroy it with a single action. If you're consistent with your positive influence, you'll gain respect. If you never allow someone else to pull you back into their negative emotion, move past the lessons learned. Acknowledge that failure is the beginning and hold respect for yourself. So when you're learning a lesson, stick to it. When you make a decision, stick to it. If you have to change, hold yourself accountable to the change. Be honest about the change. Whatever consequences come from it, deal with them. But when you act in a positive way, when you're transparent about those things, you will maintain your respect. Extend forgiveness to yourself and to others in order to gain respect for yourself and from others. It's okay to make mistakes. It's also okay to forgive. It's also okay to move on and forget. These are all parts of respecting self and respecting others. We're moving into situation awareness, and it's an important aspect of consistency. It's an important aspect of accountability. It's an important aspect of respect. And tomorrow, as we talk about situation awareness and how to apply that so we can maintain these things and activate these different things that we've been talking about, I'm excited to share about what that means and how you can do that to be your best self so that you are your best for others. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.